Hi, and welcome to the SPNN Forum. I'm Martin Ludden, Executive Director at the St. Paul Neighborhood Network, and this is one of a series of interviews we're doing with all 17 of St. Paul's district councils. Our guests today are Betsy Mowry Voss and Shaquana Jackson from District 1. Welcome to the forum.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So could you give us, first off, just kind of the geographic boundaries of District 1?
Yeah. So District 1 is the furthest, like, southeast portion of St. Paul, and most people don't know we exist or don't realize we're a part of St. Paul. So, side note: my husband and I bought a home. I live in District 1 also, and we drove to this community, and we're like, we didn't even know this was here. Yeah. It's a hidden gem.
Are we still in St. Paul?
Yeah, so we are the very southeast corner. We actually go all the way down and encompass the Mississippi River, and there's like Pig's Eye Lake and Pig's Eye Regional Park, and there's actually a whole bunch of businesses down along there also. And then on the east, you go all the way up McKnight Road. So McKnight divides our community. Okay. So we're on one side, Maplewood's on the other, and fortunately, we're good neighbors with them. And we go up to Minnehaha Road. So to the top of us, you go all the way past 3M. The top of us, just north of us, is District 2, and they're a really large community council. And then over and kind of down along Highway 61, it actually cuts off at a street called Birmingham, which means that we have most of Harding High School in our district, but not all of it.
Okay.
So we are physically the largest district out of the entire city. That doesn't mean we have the greatest population. We're just physically large. We encompass the Mississippi and the Pig's Eye Regional Park and Battle Creek Regional Park.
Okay. So largest geographical of region of all the districts.
Yeah.
What's unique about District 1?
I think the most unique is that we're one of the youngest. We're one of the youngest districts, 34 years young. So I think that's important, that we have a young generation of folks that we're trying to tap into to get them involved with the district councils. And also we have large Somali population, and that's south of McKnight. So we have a nice amount. We don't have as many as like Native people and things like that, but we do have large populations of others.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you say you're a young district, so you mean like the population of your district is young?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a young community, so probably like a lot of organizations we use, the Wilder Foundation has the MN Compass website with data. So we are, the age of our organization is the same as all the district councils. We are founded the same time, but we have over half our residents are 34 and under, including, you're under 34, aren't you? So including Shaquana. She's one of those. So, so there's that. And I think that that's a population we're still trying to tap, find out who they are, what their interests are. As Shaquana said, we have a really large Somali community, which we're still working on building relationships with. And like any district, I'm sure, we have certain people who've been at the table in our work over the years. And we're seeing that group isn't always representative of everyone who should be there. And so that's something we work really hard to do, and we're working hard to do now. But in addition, looking at younger generations, like people in their 30s or 20s, maybe even some folks in their 40s, they participate in organizations differently than baby boomers. Right. And so we have a lot of these longtime folks who've volunteered a certain way or donated a certain way. And there are younger folks who want to do things differently, and they might want to volunteer differently or for specific types of things, or they may not want to donate money, but they're willing to work at a fundraiser or sell something. So that's a whole other level of trying to understand community that I think we're still trying to wrap our brains around.
Well, and I think that's a challenge throughout the nonprofit sector, is trying to figure out how to engage new populations and new generations and what that looks like, because it's all changing.
And it's unpredictable, and I don't know who has it down. Maybe organizations designed specifically for younger generations, by younger generations, and so that's why it's important in our work that we have staff and consultants who look like our community. So that's why, as the executive director, I'm in the office trying to understand the finances. Shaquana is out and about in the community, and everyone knows her. And she has a different rapport than I do. So,
Shaquana, how do you see your role with the organization?
Well, basically, I'm the community organizer at the organization, and my role basically is to identify with the people in the community and letting them know that they do have a voice and that they can use us as a vehicle to go along with them and not for them, but do with them and share power and knowledge to lift up their voices so they can be heard. Because not everyone is at the table, so we want to make sure that we're hearing from everyone. So my role basically is to get involved, to go out talking to folks, tabling different places, just bringing those opportunities forth to bring folks in and let them know that we're here, you know, for you, you know, we're the community organization, so we're for the community. Just, you know, use us and tap into that. So I think my role is important, is just getting out here and communicating and, you know, building relationships with community members and letting them know that they are welcome to be a part of District 1.
Where do you find the most people? Like, where do you go? Where are you out and about?
That's a great question.
yeah.
I go all around. So basically, I'm in the rec centers. I go to the middle schools in our district, high school. We have 2 high schools in our district. I go to those. I go to any events that's happening, any community events. Anything that's where the people are in our district, I'm there, like tabling, talking to folks. I just did, last week, I actually did Battle Creek movie night. They did Lego in the park. So it's like I'm at those kind of events, you know, where the community is, trying to build those relationships and let them know what we got going on, all the different opportunities. We have different programs we're trying to do. So we have a lot of great things to offer.
Yeah, well, and I've been, I think Battle Creek Elementary and Rec Center there is such a great kind of resource, and it's super lively, and there's tons of activity there all the time.
And I live really nearby, so I can vouch for that. I actually live and work in the community, so it's important for me that I just do what's needed to be done as a community organizer.
Yeah, cool. And so you talked a little bit about, you know, staying in the office, working on the finance, but kind of what else is your job? Do you see as your job as the executive director?
Well, so Shaquana and I, we're a small shop, so we do everything, and we work very collaboratively. So I honestly couldn't do as well as what I do without her. And we have 2 other colleagues. We have a Somali engagement liaison, who Naima, who works with us a few hours a month, and then we have Carlos Garcia Velasco, who's doing renter outreach with us right now. And so we have a really good team around us that help us make things happen. And so I do manage the finances, and I readily admit, coming from a background in the arts, that they're not my strength, but I do understand them. We don't have an overwhelming budget by any means. So finances, we get inquiries from community members. I would say at least once or twice a week, there's some sort of question that I need to figure out how to answer. It might be a zoning issue, might be someone who has an erosion issue and doesn't want to cause any problems with their neighbors, so they don't want to address it. And it's figuring those things out. So like the district councils were originally created to serve as a liaison between residents and the city, and we still do that. And so a lot of my job, it still includes that type of a thing. I manage the board and committees. So our board is comprised of residents from the community who run for election, and then they get on the board, and some of them may know what they're doing, but a lot of them come on having no board experience, and we can actually recruit board members as young as 16 now. Wow. So what we've started to try to do with them also is engage them in volunteer activities that resonate with them. So instead of expecting everyone to show up and sitting in a different committee meeting, it's a lot of managing them and trying to figure out if they can assist with different types of events that suit them or what have you. So I do that type of a thing. We do have to keep copies of all of our paperwork and documentation, so managing the paperwork, figuring out, we have a lot of different, like any director, a lot of different budgets that we're balancing at any given time, because we do get some funds from the city, but we may also have 3 or 4 grants at any given time, and we have to spend those down and figuring out what that looks like. So a lot of it is paper pushing, but it may also be things like yesterday, I got some new toilet bowl cleaner, and I cleaned the toilet, and then I called Shaquana, and I'm like, look how clean our toilet bowl looks. And we're just like so goofy, just standing in there laughing. We're so proud of ourselves. So, we cleaned the office, tried it yesterday. We did some rearranging and reorganizing. Our office is at Sunrise Shopping Center, so we are right in the middle of the community. People walk by us and pop in and say hello to Shaquana, who goes by Miss Red. They pop in and look at her every day, and we host meetings and put, suet in my little bird feeder. And
this is the glamorous life of the executive director.
Vacuum. We got a new vacuum. That was really exciting to us. So. And then the city will send me an email like, of course you know that everything you buy belongs to the city, and so I'll be like, okay, you can have our phones, you can have it all. So I try not to get too smart alecky with that, but it's a lot of that type of thing. And each month for board meetings, we each complete a monthly report that explains what we do day to day, and that's something I just initiated this past year because we talk about our big projects we're doing. For example, Boys Totem Town, residential facilities in our district. It just closed this month. And so people pay attention to those big things. They're like attention magnets. Pigs Eye Regional Park, Battle Creek Regional Park is partially in our district. They're doing a new master plan. There's safety issues. All that stuff is what people pay attention to, but they don't know the day-to-day things that we're always doing. And so I try to keep them informed of that.
Yeah, and so how large is the board?
Our board's only 15 people, thank goodness. Some people have a 25-person board or no, and there was a time, I know that there have been times when it's been hard to find enough people to run. One of our greatest challenges is finding people to be engaged in our work. And so, but we have a great board now. We had more applicants than individuals who were voted in. And I think
competitive races.
Maybe not as competitive as some districts, but for us, that's pretty good. We want folks to have a choice in who's representing them.
So as what are you hearing, kind of what are the hot issues that you're hearing in the community? What are the residents of your district wanting out of the district council? What are they concerned about?
Basically, a lot of what folks are talking about is like renters, the renter issues that's going on. So how can the district council help them to deal with these different issues? Transportation is a thing. We don't have a lot of transportation, so folks are always worried about transportation. The weather is, our weather is Minnesota weather, so it's like keeping on top of the transportation, making sure that we're in connection with the community. Folks have a lot of different concerns, but mainly they really just want to be a place where they can just, get around, get to the things they need. And of course, the Sunray, where we are, is our hub. That's the place where we go to shop. Folks worry about if that's going to last. Because we lose, businesses because of the fact of, there may be some crime or rumors that's keeping folks out of our area. So it's like we want to kind of listen to the community and bring more businesses in for folks can stay so we don't lose that. And people can shop within the community, keep the jobs in the community to help the community thrive.
Yeah, exactly. And so we had a really busy summer. We had an intern from the Cura program at the University of Minnesota who helped us conduct a pedestrian safety study of part of McKnight Road, which, as I said previously, we share with Maplewood. So it is a county road, and we had a young woman hit and killed there in January. And actually, I think people are hit more regularly on McKnight than we probably realize. So raising awareness with the county about people who are walking and biking along McKnight, and the cars go really fast, and it's a terrain that's hilly. So we did a study of pedestrians and cyclists. We hope that has an impact. We'll be presenting it to the county, and we'll allow for some road changes. And shopping, I think shopping at Sunray is a big issue for us, working with businesses, helping those businesses find their own voice and power to say, hey, people are shoplifting here every day. So we also have in our community, I know north of 94, we have a lot of car theft issues or security issues. It's different. We have 4 neighborhoods, and every neighborhood has different needs. So we have to prioritize. We can't do everything, unfortunately.
What are your 4 neighborhoods?
So we have Eastview is near Hardin High School. We have Conway, it's near the Sunray Shopping Center.
Yeah.
We have Battle Creek near the regional park, and also we have Highwood Hills, that's south of McKnight.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we have some neighborhoods.
Yeah, we do, and they're all, the north ones, north of 94, are very different than the ones south.
South, yes.
And so I think the ones south get sometimes more attention than
than the
Eastview and Conway, and so we're aware of that, and yeah.
So you talked about presenting kind of the study that you're doing to the county. How do you work with those other levels of government, with the city, with the county? What does that look like?
Well, basically, we work effectively alongside with Jane Prince. You know, we do things with the city. We, of course, get money from the city, but we also do different projects and everything. Betsy kind of tap in to help me to get get the rest. But we just, we do a lot of different things with the county. So
and Jane Prince is our current council person.
Yes.
Of course, elections are coming up in November, but. We've been lucky. Fortunately, she's our only council person. Some districts have 2 or 3. I don't even want to think about juggling multiple people, but Jane is very, very accessible to us. We can call her or text her, and she responds. Jay Zhang, who's our state rep, lives in our district, and he shows up. We had a couple renter cookouts. He showed up he shows up for things, which is fabulous. Had a hot dog, and we have some occasional youth projects. Jane and Jay both showed up for that final presentation, which was at Doubletree. Awesome. Yeah, that was fun. And then Senator Herr also shows up for things. So we're really lucky that our representatives, our government officials are very close to us in many ways and show up for things. So, that doesn't necessarily mean that we always agree with everything they do. Right, yes. And as a director, I think as staff, we take the stance of trying to represent our community first, and it's not about our personal agendas. Right. So, which may seem kind of wishy-washy, but I do know that there are people for and against every political side or every politician. So we have to be pretty fair about how we manage things. We hear from community members they get frustrated because they get asked for input on an important topic, and what they want doesn't always happen. Right. And so that's something we've been asked is, well, what difference does it make if I say anything, because the government's going to do what they want anyway. But part of what we've come to learn, because we work so closely with government, are all the variables that are involved in why things are decided. A lot of it's financial, but everything's a lot more complicated than it seems on the surface. So
you seem well positioned to kind of do some of that messaging after the fact, to say like, well, here's what the process looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, when I first started this job, I remember saying to some friends, I feel like my whole job is listening to what someone says and then telling that information to someone else. It's almost like you're this middle person. Yeah. So I said, that doesn't seem like it should be the priority, but it's so much of what we do. We hear something, and some of it is also messaging and how that information is conveyed. So like we've done, renter engagement is a big initiative we're trying to tackle right now. And so we've been having events, and Jay showed up for the first one, which was fabulous. The second one, we partnered with Community
Stabilization
Project. Mm-hmm. And they do a lot of great housing engagement and advocacy. So we've come to realize too that we don't have to work in a silo. There are people doing this work, other organizations, and we are in a position where we can lift up groups like Community Stabilization and bring them to the forefront so that they can do what they do best, and we can provide that. So they came and presented at our second event. And it was helpful. We had a good turnout of people who had a lot of questions and concerns that were realistic. Yeah.
So you talked about these renter education events. Do you have any other events coming up about that or anything else?
Well, one of the things we launched this summer, we are a district that doesn't currently have any community festivals or events. We do have some community activities that might be more like resource events where organizations table and someone might cook hot dogs. But we don't have a regular festival. We don't have parades. We don't have Lake Phelan where there's things happening on the water. So this year we tried to, we launched the Highwood Performance Series, and that brought some of the region's best known artists to one of our recreation centers that was actually recently reopened in April to provide free family-friendly outdoor performances. So our final performance is actually tomorrow night. It's the Somali dance troupe from the Minnesota Somali Museum. They're also bringing a traveling exhibit. In addition to that, we are providing some community education about things like planning and economic development through a series we're offering. The city will be doing 2 of those, one on planning and one on zoning. And we are hoping to partner with a local church to have a screening of
Jim Crow of the North.
Jim Crow of the North, and then maybe a panel discussion.
Yes.
So we know that we get a lot more people to the table when we partner with others, and we serve more individuals that way. So those are some other things we have coming up. And then we have our usual, we have committee meetings monthly, but we certainly do welcome participants in any of our work, or if community members have ideas about what should be offered, we invite them to show up and talk to us if they have something. We're not going to do work for people, we're going to encourage them to do it for themselves, and we provide the support.
So if people want more information, where can they go to find it?
They can look at our website, which is currently district1council.org. We are in the middle of a name change process, so our new organization name is Southeast Community Organization. And so we'll be changing our website URL at some point, but everything will be redirected to there. They can go to our website, that's where we keep information. They can call us. Our phone number is 651-578-7600. They can email either of us, and our information's on the website. We also have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, and a new Instagram account. So we have that.
All the social media.
Yeah. One of our board members wanted to do Instagram, and I'm like, okay, as long as I don't have to manage it right now, yeah. And so we have those. We also have a monthly newsletter that we can email to people, and that has everything. So when people ask about things, I'll say, did you read the newsletter? It's in there. Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. And that's the best way for people to find out, how to get involved, where committee, join a committee, run for the board, any of that kind of stuff.
And of course, they're welcome to. We'll sit down and talk with people all the time. Shaquana has one-to-one meetings.
A lot, at least multiple weekly.
Yeah.
And that's
she does a lot
important,
of
to keep talking and meeting folks to see how they could be a part of what we're doing. And what they could bring to the table.
So if you had kind of, magic wish, crystal ball, magic wand, however you want to put it, kind of what does the future of District 1 look like? As a neighborhood, as a group of neighborhoods, but also as an organization?
Yeah, well, interestingly, we do have a survey on our website right now for that. We have tons of surveys going at any given time. I had to put a moratorium, no more surveys right now. But I think what we would like to see, we'd like to see our community more mobilized. We want to see new people showing up to work alongside of us. We want to see new leaders developing, not just same old, and it has to always be happening. You don't just get new leaders and then we're set. We always need to be working on new generations. We hold events, we want people to show up for them, and so we know that happens through community engagement. So, I think that would be my wish. I don't know, what do you think?
For me, I just want people to get more involved and be proactive with us. Because I feel like over the past years, we've been doing the work for everyone and not us partnering together and making it happen as a community. So I would like to just see it be more community coming in and being involved and pushing the envelope, pushing the mission. Because ultimately, it's the community. Like Betsy and I do live and work in the community, but it's not all about us. It's about what the people, the community is saying, and we want to raise that up to the surface.
Well, Betsy and Shaquana, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for the work that you do in your communities and with your neighborhoods and with the District Council. This has been the SPNN Forum. Our guests today were Betsy Mowry-Voss and Shaquana Jackson from the District 1 Community Council. Stay tuned for more on SPNN. Thanks.